Hello everybody and welcome to Brands Hatch for the start of a brand new era here in your Simraceway midweek championships. It's the heats and it's a couple of times now we've had these broadcasts purely because of the sheer emotion, the adrenaline that they seem to bring. The top three make it through to Thursday's championship action. Who will they be? Let's see what the flow can do off the line as we await the arrival of those 4 red lights. So the lights go out and a big start. You notice a little bit of oversteer from, I think that was Raceway in P3 down to Paddock Hill Bend for the first time today. Round the outside, he's trying to look. No good through there though, unfortunately. A little bit wide on the apex, and we've got a couple of cars off in the background on the exit of Paddock Hill. I think Diamondback is one, Acosta another. Bellino's beached it there on the entrance. So not good. We do have a restart for the contact. And hopefully that everyone just gets their head screwed on. We'll be right back with you for the Simraceway heats very soon. So hopefully we'll get a bit better start-wise during the second attempt. I think everyone is trying to warm up, and I know that, restarts aren't exactly adored by many people in Simraceway, but it just goes, goes to show how much these guys are pushing, that they do give it their all. They want 110%. It's a long race, 15 laps, but that big start is imperative. You need to get a good launch off the line. And as the drivers flow down into the first corner, the flow has the lead, or does he? Luke Sky storms into the lead on the outside. He's going to try and sweep it all the way around. Bear in mind, it's a brave move through turn number 1 at Paddock Hill Bend, but he's done so. And he's able to hold the lead as they fly down into Druids. Now Tomcat goes through as well. A much cleaner start by the field, just one car off there. I think that may have been Tomcat 458 after the audacious manoeuvre going in towards Paddock Hill Bend. So he now settles down through the order. Kobayashi goes a bit wide as well as he's running. McGann to all fizzle out, and look at that. I think it's Quillian who's gone a bit wide. He's lost one position to Arrowsworks, another to Popo. And now making their way down through the back end of the circuit for the first time in 15 today. Quillian on the outside line, Arrowsworks on the inside. He gets pushed off there, and that may end in fireworks. He's going to miss the apex completely. Does he hit the wall? He rides along it a bit and he's able to turn the car away, but that was not a good stead there for Quillian. Look at that as he stopped. He may well have done right in the back of the order then. We'll see if he can maybe make something of this as the race goes on, but right now Popo CZ behind Kobayashi 10. They dive down now, gets through the left-hander. Kobayashi's able to keep his head above water at the moment, but what is Popo able to do? Down in 9th, obviously, as we say, the top 3 advance to the championship race tomorrow. First round of 4 in the midweek championship, so these heats often carry a lot of tension, a lot of intensity, and I'm sure that today is going to be absolutely no exception whatsoever. Down into paddock for the second time, and Popo, Kobayashi and Diamondback getting very up close and personal as they fly down into Druids. Just trying to get around the outside, and wait for the manoeuvre. It's a long train of cars, that, isn't it? You've got about 6 cars, I think. Diamond, Kobayashi, Popo, Arazworks, A Costa and Alex Juzhin all there. So from 12th all the way up to 7th position, being held currently by Diamondback. Meanwhile, just ahead of them, Doodle 127. We saw him in action at the weekend. He's trying to overtake Tomcat at the moment. And now down through under the bridge in towards the right-hander. You can see through. They'll head towards Clearways again very shortly. Keep an eye on the lap time of race leader Luke Sky as well, because in a few more corners you could well be setting this table on fire. I mean, you've got Luke Sky, the Flow, who have pretty much already established themselves as very much contenders for that top 3 position. Then behind, still very, very uncertain. Engange on the bubble. Raceway is there. The longer he's kept at bay, the longer Tomcat and Doodle 127 are going to start reeling him in. This is a very, very demanding situation for that man in 3rd place right now. Over the line they go for the 2nd time. And there's Diamond and Popo, and just see what Popo CZ is going to be able to try and muster up here. Brands Hatch notoriously not a circuit renowned for passing. And Quillian is in fact out of the race then, so lap 1 incident sees Quillian fall to the back of the order and indeed back to the garage. Not the start he wanted, I'm sure, to his championship. Hopefully we see him in action for the weekend championship, which of course is celebrating the legacy of one of the newest additions to circuits in America, the Circuit of the Americas, which has definitely captivated the hearts and minds of race fans, not just in America but worldwide, without a shadow of a doubt. So if you want to see any more action from that series, then just be sure to head over to our Simraceway YouTube channel and you can follow out full broadcasts from the weekend. Drivers all just now try and get themselves away from this group battling, because now to the inside, here we go, this is the move we're waiting for. Popo to the inside of Diamondback, he's going to go all the way around the inside, fight it, fight it, fight it, and he doesn't have the momentum, and teammate Arazworks is there maybe just trying to get ready before, look at that, look, you can just sense the urgency between the drivers. Popo makes it through somehow, Arazworks has got through as well. So Diamondback falls back into 9th position. It has not been a good day for Arazworks, that's for sure. So Popo, Araz, then Diamondback and A Costa. Is he going to fall back even further? I mean, A Costa looking to get himself on the inside of the final turn. He's unfortunately not been able to do so through there though, as they make their way over the start-finish line once again here at Brands Hatch. The 4th lap of the race is underway. And taking a look at the fight for 3rd position, that's also going to be one that I'm sure many people across Simraceway will be keeping an eye on. The final position to get yourself promoted into the championship races tomorrow in Ganj, Raceway and Tomcat. And these heats so popular with fans and drivers alike, they fill up so quickly. Everyone wants that second chance to get themselves into the championship action. Perfect way to do it. And Raceway is really now sticking his claim to this Brands Hatch circuit, applying pressure on Engange at every possible angle, but it is difficult. And talking of difficult, Luke Sky coming under maybe a lot of fire here from the Flow. We are not quite a third of the way through yet, but Luke Sky quite a daunting lead, let's say, over the Flow, and that has just been rinsed all the way down. The Flow going to have to push very hard to keep this up, because Luke Sky is naturally quick. We've seen him perform in numerous different championships, very consistent young man indeed. And now the Flow is really starting to hammer down though. Keep an eye on lap times as well. Luke Sky that time by a 1:25.7. The Flow 5/10 faster with a 1:25.201. And oh, a bit of a squirm there from the Flow. So that's not good news at all for the man in 2nd, who's just maybe pushing a bit too hard now. And the motivation level that he's got, knowing that Luke Sky is just under a second away, is definitely going to be working to effect. It'll be making him push harder, and it could also be making him worry more as well, because as you go over that limit, as we've said so many times, you can be so prone to driver errors. Meanwhile, the battle for 3rd in Ganj and Raceway still hotting up nicely. Tomcat slowed down there. Now, was that to let Popo back through? Tomcat, that was going out of Graham Hill Bend, looked very slow indeed. He sped right back up again as soon as the move was completed. So if I didn't know any better, I would say that was definitely to let Popo back through. And another sense of motivation for these drivers as well, bear in mind, is that it's not just the race result that matters, but the overall total time recorded at the end of the race. They're going to be keeping an eye on that. You have to be doing your very best, because if someone, let's say, is already qualified for the event tomorrow, doesn't show up for whatever reason, maybe they're ill or, you know, can't make it for personal reasons, then it will be decided, the replacement will be decided through who got the fastest overall race time. So if you find yourself maybe a bit more consistent, then that could be a route to look down. But even if you don't get third, if you can get the best overall race time, then you're going to be having a much better race indeed. Especially in terms of your championship hopes as well going in towards tomorrow. But then again, you've got to put that to the back of your mind, haven't you, as a racing driver, that you can't monitor each lap time you do and keep focusing on it, trying to improve, because the more you do it, the more you're naturally going to push, and you could make errors. If you know you're not comfortable pushing between 95 and 99% all of the time, then you're going to struggle. If you would much rather be at 80, you could probably get an even faster time by just being consistent at that 80. So a lot to think about for these drivers here. Lap 6 of 15, so a third of the way through the race as Popo under pressure from his, well, actually putting pressure on his teammate there of Arrows Works. We'll see if he can convert this momentum into a manoeuvre or no very soon. A battle for the lead also getting incredibly hot at the front of the field. Luke Sky in the flow, set to complete yet another lap of the Brands Hatch circuit, the full circuit of course. As they go past the final grandstand in the media centre on the right hand side, a 125.8 that time for the flow, and that was also matched by our race leader. And at this point as well, lap times aren't really relevant for the two race leaders, because one could be 5-6 tenths slower, but the draft you get down the straight, you're not really going to notice a time difference. And again, the flow on that same corner going out of Druids into Graham Hill almost lost that back end of the Renault Megane. This is what makes these cars so exciting to watch. The big brother of the Renault Clio has its own Euro series, of course, and often ventures onto the Brands Hatch circuit. It's fantastic to see it in action here. And with a circuit that doesn't really encourage overtaking, it's much more of a driver's circuit, one where error is going to be the key factor. We are seeing a lot of pressure and a lot of excitement from the drivers and the cars here today. So shooting down the hill again they come, and Luke Sky looking maybe a little bit more composed as they start to settle down. We get closer to the halfway stage of the race. But knowing how vital this can be, you cannot afford to make an error. I wonder if the flow's just trying to bide his time and wait for Luke to make an error. You couldn't really blame him for doing so, could you? Luke Sky wide again. The flow tried to come back at him this time and is unable to do so yet again. Even the start-finish line at a 125.849 for the flow and an 855 for Luke Sky. So the two drivers mirroring each other all the way through. A 127.1 for Engange. That was incredibly slow. It's Night Raceway, the man in fourth, that's almost a second faster. Doodle also going very well. A 125.7 from Tomcat, so don't let him out of this just yet. Bearing in mind, we're talking about that battle for third. He's currently held by Engange, the man who did the slower lap of the field. Well, the slowest lap inside the top six, absolutely. A 127.1. Now that was, as we say, beaten by a second by Night Raceway in fourth. Doodle's there in fifth, and Tomcat had almost even matched the pace of our race leaders. So there is still very, very fiery battles to be decided on this circuit. This is not over yet. We've got a long, long way to go until we decide who's going through to the championship race tomorrow. Although Luke Sky has eked out a bit more of a lead due to what I can only presume to be another flow mistake, and we've seen them come in there dozens quite recently. And over the line again goes Luke Sky, 125.589. Yeah, it was definitely an error. It's cost him almost a second there for the flow. We'll see if Engange has been able to maybe find anything a bit deeper that time right. 126.5. Still 4 tenths slower than Night Raceway in fourth. And again, it seemed to be that Duda 127 isn't too far away from the pace. 126.5 for Tomcat, so a bit slower there for him as well. But Night Raceway and Engange getting a bit feisty now. Now this is perfect for the drivers behind who want to get themselves right in amongst the thick of it, really. If everything goes to plan, then they've got themselves a great opportunity to catch these two drivers who are dueling away over that final position and maybe sneak through. Keeping an eye on what the race leaders are doing. Also, Luke Sky in the flow. Luke Sky seeming to maintain that distance at the moment, as the same can't be said for Engange. Night Raceway, the real run up the inside here. He's going to go for it, and he may run out of road, and he pushes Engange as far as he can, and it's still not enough. Engange holds on and yields for now, and Night Raceway's got to stay back and think about this. That was very, very close indeed, and could have ended drastically. Although he's going a bit wide at the final corner. I thought he was going to try and cut underneath or something, but not quite. So now in towards Druids again go the two drivers fighting over third and fourth, with lap times much slower into the 127s there for them both. He's going to allow Doodle to catch them. And A. Costa, I would have said as well, but he's had a terrible lap. And Arazworks is now looking to get all over the back of him. So battles all the way through the field here raging on. It's not like you've just got one certainty that's, you know, being contested for. The rest are still miles and miles apart. We've got fights going all the way down the order, and this is what makes these heats so special. And I think a heat is definitely the perfect name for them. So Luke Sky's going to come over the start-finish line again, and he's going to be bringing the flow very, very closely by him, isn't he? So close to the end of the race now. We're almost 15 minutes in, and so much still to be decided. And looking at Engange and Night Raceway, those two now diving in towards that hairpin again at Druids. Night Raceway sitting just behind him at the moment. Although bear in mind, I think out of the entire field, Night Raceway has been the most adventurous of the drivers. When you look at the moves he's tried to pull off, he's been the only one really to get some side-by-side action as of late. The rest have been sitting behind, waiting, biding their time, clicking their fingers and twiddling their thumbs. Night Raceway's gone headfirst into the deep end, all guns blazing, with varying levels of success. Sometimes it's played out absolutely beautifully, other times not so beautifully, but you can definitely tell the tension's still there, and it's going to be a long, long run to the finish for these drivers right now. There's a lot at stake. Just saying, if it's, you know, it's still not the end of the world if they don't make it through, but to get through to the championship tomorrow, even with a good race time, is going to be absolutely crucial. Of course, this being the first round of Season 7 for these championships. But this is absolutely going to be a real treat, especially now as headlights are on for Night Raceway. And look how close he's getting to Engange. Yeah, maybe 30 seconds away from the race lead, but Engange only 0.6 seconds away from qualifying for tomorrow's championship round. You can see already how much it means to him now as he almost puts a wheel on the gravel, diving into the hairpin again. Doodle getting ever closer now. 126.4 for Night Raceway, 26.1 for Doodle. He's just clawing his way up the field. Just behind as well, A. Costa bringing Arazworks and Popo. That's been brewing for quite some time. We'll see if they've got a bit of a treat in store for us come the end of the race. I know Halloween may be over, but not everyone gets rid of their trick and treats so quickly. I think the flow may have one up his sleeve for Luke Sky in the very closing stages of this one. Just a few more laps remaining here at Brands Hatch. If you want to get involved, simraceway.com is the place to go. Our social media page, facebook.com/simraceway, for all of the information you need, or to get involved with the fans, enter some competitions and look at some great screenshots and videos from not just Simraceway but the realm of motorsport as well. Our Twitter page at Simraceway, my personal one at LiamJenkins21, and be sure if you do have any questions, leave them in the comment section on the YouTube channel or tweet them to our own Simraceway Twitter or my one at Simraceway or at LiamJenkins21, and we will be sure to read them out on the broadcast, get them answered and get this fan interaction to the next level. And right now, if this was Formula E, I think everyone will be giving the boost to the flow, because round the outside he's trying to Druids, trying to come back through again, looping it round and play some mind games here with Luke Sky. He can't come underneath through there, and a little bit of contact between the two contenders. 0.8 of a second now. Almost as little, as much time as it takes you to blink the human eye. There we go, got there in the end, bit of a mouthful. As Night Raceway is trying to make quite the stunning pass on Engange. These two drivers have been back and forth all race long, as have the two contesting the race lead. It's still Luke Sky headed at the moment. He's about a lap and a half away from a victory and from qualifying into tomorrow's championship race. And quite often you do see another side to drivers in these heat races. One of sheer just angst and anger and passion, of everything that makes a racing driver a racing driver. The speed, the intensity, the aggression, the will and desire to win, to be at the top of that podium at the end of the race, is what separates them from the rest of the drivers in the field. And I think Luke Sky is going to have to give a little bit more if he wants to hold on to this one. So through they go again. Penultimate lap of the race is starting. Engange looks like he may have this third position all sealed up for now. So he's still not sure. There's a little bit of way to go just yet. And there's Acosta, followed by Arisworks in 6th and 7th there. You've got 8th place is Kloppo, who's dropped off a little since the last time we checked up on him. But then look at this now, back towards the top of the field. You just cannot take your eyes off the two leaders. And I say that now as the flow goes a bit wide and has a wiggle. I thought Luke Sky did the same, and miraculously, it was like there was a little worker man in front of him laying down more tarmac, because he's somehow got a bit more grip out of that Renault Megane. I have no idea to this day how exactly he's got away with that. But as they enter the final corner for the penultimate time, it is a comfortable margin between Luke Sky and the flow behind. 2.1 seconds between the Renault Meganes. And as Luke Sky crosses the line, it is a blistering 1 minute 25.3. And look at this, just behind though, Engange and Night Raceway getting very racy indeed. Night Raceway trying to push to the inside, hasn't been able to do so, and gets a wheel on the grass. And that could have been his final attempt for a pass. So dreams are being shattered and winners are being crowned. There's still a lot of racing left though. A lot can change in just a moment or two. All it takes is one tiny lapse of concentration, one thought that is just basically that I've won this, and it can all be slapped away from you quicker than you can say Renault Megane. Down the hill comes Luke Sky, about 2 seconds between himself and the flow at the moment. Flo won't be too disheartened by finishing second though. Yes, he could have won, but nonetheless, he'll have his damage to do tomorrow during the championship race. That's when the win really matters. This is just to get yourself into the championship, so basically like a qualifier. The top 3 advancing, and the reserves decided by total race time. It will be Luke Sky that can hold his head extremely high after this one. And now look at this, Luke Sky over the start-finish line, then he's kept the flow at bay all afternoon, and Luke Sky will win the heat and will advance to your midweek championship round number 1, as will the flow. Third place still very much up for debate there, as Night Raceway's trying everything he's got to get to the inside of Engange. Are we going to see a photo finish? He's to the outside, he's trying to cut underneath, there's no room. What defending for Engange when it all mattered most? Engage came through and delivered an offensive drive worthy of a champion. Engage will qualify for tomorrow's heat, well, tomorrow's championship race, to beg your pardon, with Simraceway in 4th, Arrows Works in 5th, Popo 6th, Doodle 7th, 8th to Kobayashi, 9th Alex Fusion, 10th Diamondback, 11th is Bolinas, 12th SDEV Sierra 28, and 13th, excuse me, I thought this race would definitely inflict some damage on my throat. It was brilliant. Acosta 13th and Tomcat in 14th, with Quillian not finishing. But what a race that was. A great way to spark off the heats. We've got one more coming up for you very, very soon, and definitely give me a chance to make sure I do get some water into my throat, so I'm not going to be cutting out just as much in the next race. But congratulations to our 3 qualifiers for the championship races tomorrow. They are Luke Sky 80, The Flow and Engage. And from myself, Ian Jenkins, we'll be back very shortly. Hello everybody and welcome back to the second and final heat for Season 7, Round 1 of your Simraceway Midweek Championship here at Brands Hatch. Round 1 Heat 1 we should say, was an absolute thriller, emotional right to the end. And today the emotion goes through the roof. Raceway on pole, RKO 72 second, you've got Tomcat in third. Who's going to come out on top? Let's find out. We've had a slow start there from Quillian. He's made his return to the next race, and I think he's actually stalled there. He's got away. Alex Usian and Belinas still at the start. I'm sure there's going to be a warm-up or restart on the way, and yes, there is. So second time lucky it should be then, the second heat and the final heat of the evening, the last chance saloon, if you pardon the pun, for these drivers to get themselves into the first round of our Simraceway Midweek Championships. The Renault Megane, 15 laps of Brands Hatch, and it's Raceway on pole. What will he be able to do going into this race? He's had a big start, but our KOs may have been bigger as they storm down into Paddock Hill Bend. Let's see who's going to get the best of Brands Hatch here today. Through they go then for the opening time, and somehow Raceway keeps himself in the lead. No contact, surprisingly. They go through Druids, and it's so easy to make just the slightest bit of contact as you go through Paddock Hill Bend. It is not the most, I'd say, nicest of corners. It doesn't have personality, but it's not the most forgiving of corners. Definitely. It is so demanding, and it's so physical. You don't see the apex. The elevation change makes the car weightless. It's difficult to get right. But most of these drivers, in fact all of them, did it absolutely spot on there. So the race underway. Raceway leads from RKO second. The top five stay the same as they were. Acos is still P5 as you can see. Popo there fourth. Tomcat in third. And now they make their way through the double right-hander. Look at that. So things already shaping up very nicely. A long train of cars in that midfield behind the supercar. You've got Zhuzhen, Giagni, Belinas, and I think that's Andov at the back of the field, or Andanov, yes it is. So still 15 drivers in this race and a full field of cars packed right to the brim, so we're going to see some very entertaining, very exciting racing here. There's no two ways about it. Out of the final corner for the first time comes Raceway, and Tomcat almost had a look for Acosta. Now that is not for a podium position. If you're just tuning in, then the format of this is very simple. The top three go through to the championship races tomorrow. The rest go home with nothing, as the weakest link would say. But no, of course, there's still that mini prize to play for. Don't forget though that even if you don't finish inside the top three, your total race time is definitely a factor, because if it's very quick and say someone can't make the race tomorrow, then the man with the fastest race time in this heat will be selected as a reserve. So it is important to have the best night you possibly can, even if you're down in 7th place, to do as many hot laps as you can to make sure you have the best race time. And looking, that's a Quillian out of the race. There's 2 out of 2 DNFs there for Quillian. That's twice he's attempted this heat, and twice he's unfortunately had a very sad walk back to the paddock. I think Tomcat's looking for a much more optimistic one, isn't he, as he tries to move his way past A. Costa, trying to get to the inside there, and still no avail despite a very fine effort. A. Costa's been able to keep him at bay for now. And just behind as well, we've got a little bit of sparky warfare between Diamondback and Supercar 1. Pedro just trying to get in the slipstream of Diamondback as they shoot down in towards clearways once again, and out to that final corner. That's so beautiful one. You can see all of the VIP pass suites on the left. You go down, and then you've got the grandstand on your first left hand side, pit lane on the right, followed by the media centre, the commentary booth, and all of the race admin buildings and the BRDC clubhouse on the left as well. And so Antonov out of the race then, so that's a real shame there actually. Hopefully he can have a bit of a better run as Supercar goes up the inside of Diamondback into Druids. Now that is for P9, he's been able to make it stick. Diamondback unable to cut back. And this is going to be the catalyst for perhaps some other overtaking manoeuvres from the other drivers in this field. Everyone's just outside that podium position, because right now P1, 2 and 3 have actually got themselves at least minimum 6 seconds between their nearest competitors. So Raceway and RKO a couple seconds apart, then a further few is Popo in third, and then you've got that Goliath train of cars headed up by Costa 88 at the moment, which could still prove to be extremely dangerous at the end of the race. So it's still only very early stages of this one. Drivers still trying to settle down and get their racing all together, everything calmed down. And Akos has gone wide. That's not what he wants, as Tomcat's going to go, thank you very much. Through he goes. And Tomcat now promoted to 4th. Now, will this affect his lap time? Is he going to be able to send a charge for the final podium spot? It's definitely a shout as he just over the line. Reno follows in 6th. Is he going to be able to push his way out the inside of Druids, or no? That's going to be another question entirely, and an answer which, however, does remain the same. He's not able to do that. And look at this then, just behind as well, bear in mind, Arazworks, Kobayashi and Supercar. This is Arazworks in 8th, still trying to see if he can attack Kobayashi there and move his way through. Moves his way to the outside. But with that corner tightening up on you so quickly, it's very difficult to even brave a pass on the inside through there, let alone the outside. So perhaps maybe one of the more sensible decisions of Arazworks' racing career to not go for that manoeuvre. See if he gets a bit more adventurous later on, however, as they go through now in towards those last couple of corners again. You've just got to take into account how much every single driver wants this as well. They want to be at the forefront of the action. The midweek championships have been the sights and scenes of so many breathtaking moments this year, and it's really great to see them finally being broadcasted as well. It was great to see the GT Giants Championship make its debut on the YouTube channel a few weeks ago, and now we get to see live heats as well. It is brilliant action here at Brands Hatch, and it's even better that you guys at home get to see it. We've had a massive step forward this year in 2014, it's got to be said. It's been a bit bumpy along the way, there's no doubt about it, in terms of, you know, getting everything right, not just in Simraceway, but the broadcasts as well. And it's just great to see that now we get this massive package out there, and it's something for you guys to look forward to. You know, to go, oh, you know, if your friend asks you what you're doing today, and you go, oh man, there's a broadcast on Simraceway, you get home and watch it. It's that what we want. We want that passion from not just everyone here at Simraceway, but from you, the drivers, the fans who make this game and community exactly what it is. And you know, you guys have the same amount of passion as we do. So to give you something like this broadcast back with the professionalism of Dimitri on the cameras, and hopefully the commentary as well, when I don't lose my throat from too much shouting, it really is an honour, and it's been fantastic to see just how much progress Simraceway has made over the past 12 months. And talking of progress, Raceway makes his way out of the final corner, still with a 1.7 lead, 1.7 second lead intact. And we'll see what the lap time is. It's a 126.0, so actually lost a bit of time there to RKO. Drivers behind as well, looking at maybe mid 126s, low 127s, depending on who's who. But my goodness me, this is going to be quite an interesting finale, isn't it, to this heat? Bearing in mind there's still a lot to play for. That final podium position. We spoke about Tomcat pulling away from A Costa. Let's maybe see what Tomcat's capable of, because if he wants a shot at getting into this championship race tomorrow, he's going to have to get past Popo. He's 2.6 seconds away, so we'll keep a very close eye on the lap times between those two drivers as they do start to circulate their way through. Almost halfway through this race in just a few laps, and then things will really start drawing to a whole new level. Looking at the two leaders, maybe getting a bit more racy as well as they go through the penultimate corner. I think there's still a lot of racing left to come from both of these drivers here. And this circuit used for so much over the past. And bearing in mind all the events that it's ever had here, the racing history, and how brilliant it is in terms of heritage as well for Britain. It's really one of the racing greats. It's up there with Silverstone, holds so much heritage. And the amount of drivers that have won here in terms of just Formula 1, but touring car racing, maybe British superbikes. Most recently the arrival of the Formula 4 Championship. It's been absolutely fantastic to see, but right now the two race leaders making their way up through 30s as Kobayashi 10 retires and Arceo takes a much tighter line there in second. Keep an eye on what's going on though in the latter stages of the field, especially Diamondback and Arrowsworth. Those two could still come into a bit of fruition later on. But it is a team war at the front, and if you're not aware either actually about getting into teams, or you've tuned into this Simraceway broadcast, or been a regular, and you've noticed that there have been a lot more teams entering, and I would say clan tags, but it's a bit too Call of Duty, isn't it? So a lot more racing teams being formed and communities within communities being created. The best way to get involved or to find yourself a team is go right to our forum, which is community.simraceway.com, and right at the bottom there's an own thread called Racing Teams, where you can either recruit for your own team. I think the latest is NOS, the Not Only Speed team, or you can just go in the racing general discussion and talk about racing images or anything like that. So you can create a team, join an existing one. There are so many now that have got themselves in and amongst some of the finest competitions in Sim Raceway, including of course the SDEV boys, so the Sports Driving Evolution. You've got the My Raceway is leading currently, then you've got SPM in second and third, who have done a very good job so far. And that is what I believe to be standing for as Speed and Power Motorsports. So some great team names there, and whatever it means speed, it'll be a bit hard to remember, so I think SPM we'll call them for now until we all get very much used to this new team format. And I think definitely looking into 2015, seeing some team championships will be absolutely brilliant. So not just driver championships like we used to see, which provides so much excitement, but to add that extra level of competition, that extra ferocity, that extra passion and cohesion between drivers, to have a team reward as well, where teams can work together and put the prizes towards maybe something for all of them, maybe team shirts, who knows. But it'd be brilliant to see something like that take place, and I know that Sim Raceway have got some great merchandise on the horizon as well, so be sure to keep an eye out for that if you want to be definitely the best looking person in your area wearing a Sim Raceway coat. I know I'll say best looking, I mean as in terms of wearing fashion. And they can see that Tomcat in 4th, A Costa, P5 and Reno in 6th. But I think what this definitely does define is progress, and how much progress the game has made over the past 12 months, and how much progress Arceo 72 made that lap. Actually lost 0.3 of a second, so we're hoping to make a bit more in the final 7 or 8 laps of this race. Popo's still ahead of Tomcat at the moment, despite being actually 0.5 slower. now down into Druids again. You can see just how much these drivers are drawing in on each other. Zuzan and Giagni could still be up for a bit of a fight as well. A bit further forward as the two drivers of Diamondback and Arrowsworks, only separated by a few tenths of a second, make their way through Pilgrim's Drop and down in towards Hawthorns for the 9th time today. Come out of Westfield very soon, they're in towards Dingle Dell, which is in its own a very remarkable challenge, very unique to the Brands Hatch circuit. And now look at this, it's not just Tomcat and Poppo anymore. A. Costa has been lining up the time sheets recently, and I think our events administrator Kosako put it beautifully at the end of last race. That third position is just magical, and he is absolutely right. You could be first or second, and you know, you can have a very mundane race, but there's never a boring moment where that third position is concerned. Whether you're on the bubble or just away from it, you're never out of contention. This is what makes this heat so special. The top 3 drivers go through to the championship tomorrow, and with 6 laps remaining, this is going to be an absolute thriller. The drivers make their way through Surtees once again. And you've got to keep an eye on Tomcat. He's in a very unenviable position right now. If he goes for a move and it does not pay off, which, bear in mind, this is Brands Hatch, the chances are very high, very stiff on barriers. It's difficult to make a successful manoeuvre here. If it doesn't pay off, Tomcat 458 is really going to struggle. Bearing in mind, one wheel on the grass, and you're going to see Acosta just fly past quicker than you can say SPM. Although Poppo's still looking like he's on top of things at the moment. Can he keep this up for another 5 laps after this? He's out of the final corner again, and Tomcat with a bit of a drift there, and Acosta will be lapping that up. He'll be on top of the world, no two ways about it. Now look at this, and this is where the battle really does start to heat up, as the 2 leaders have separated now by about 3 seconds. All eyes are cast into the battle for third, and even Reino is still a factor in this. We'll keep you updated with his lap time next time by, but he's not that far away. He's 7 seconds adrift in 5 laps. That is achievable. So what has Reino got up his sleeve? Is this going to come down or no? What he's really praying for now to the racing gods is that he sends a bolt of lightning striking down on the 3 cars who are fighting in the 3rd position. If he can do that, he's going to be in a very, very nice spot, because as they start fighting, not only will the mistakes come, but their lap times will inevitably get slower, and he'll get just a bit closer towards that 3rd position. Now down in towards Paddock Hill once again, the laps ticking by. Reino 1:27.2, he was actually a bit slower than all 3 drivers ahead of him, but don't write it off just yet. Nothing's over till that checkered flag falls here in Simraceway, and it's been a saying that has definitely echoed through the ages. And Poppo just trying to push a bit harder there, and I think he's pulled away because Acosta's made a bit of a problem. He's pushed through past Tomcat 458, and that is devastating news for Tomcat down in P5. And thank you very much, there's Poppo, but this is going to get extremely heated. How are these 2 drivers now going to face this challenge? Because off goes Acosta. Tomcat's trying to fight back, but there's only so much you can do right now. Another twitch there by Acosta. He is not comfortable right now. as Popo sneaks off into the distance to make it 2 of 3 spots being made through to the next championship round, which is tomorrow, the debut of our new Season 7 of the Midweek Championships. It means that Popo CZ is going to be the second of 3 SPM drivers to make it through in towards our competition tomorrow. So brilliant showing by the speed of the SPM boys. Giagni out of the race now, it looked like. So yeah, just a bit of an update on what happened with Tomcat. It was Tomcat who made the mistake just before going out of Surtees and down through Hawthorns. And because of that, A-Costa's gone, thank you very much. But since getting in towards 4th position, hasn't really looked like he's going to be capitalising anytime soon. Tomcat has dropped back yet again further. And now Renault's only 4 seconds away, so still wide open here. But we've only got a few more laps left remaining. Through go the drivers out of Graham Hill Bend. And an update on the retirement as well. We've had 3 so far. So Quillian was the first on lap number 2. He was joined by Andanov, and Kobayashi was there on lap 5. And it was unfortunately Giagni made it off. For the Bolinas has spun in P11. So Bolinas, who is not having the best of days, seems to have a potentially even worse one. Down in P11 and a spin on the exit of the final corner. Not good news for him. Meanwhile, Zhuzhen and Supercar 1 have still got some unfinished business left on the circuit. Still a couple more laps to solve that business as well. Although Supercar goes a bit wide and that could be costly. Zhuzhen on the outside should steal the honours. Indeed he does. And as much as Pedro tried to bite back and hold the inside line, that was just never going to be a viable option for him. So into the final corner to start the penultimate lap. Still a lot of this up in the air. But I think one thing we can definitely say is that Night Raceway, 4 seconds clear of Arceo, has had a dream entrance to the Midweek Championship Season 7. What a way to make an impact. There's no better way to make a statement than to take a pole position and the victory. And that man is definitely going to be a driver to watch out for in tomorrow's action. Of course, you can catch that live here on the Simraceway YouTube channel. You will not want to miss that at all. And now down in towards the penultimate corner. Night Raceway just a lap and a corner away. This time in about a minute and a half. Night Raceway is going to be crowned race winner if things go to plan for him. But look at this, Popo's made a mistake. Popo has made a vital error, and this is what we said. He pulled away after A-Costa and Tomcat were locked in World War III. And now this is the aftermath. Out of the final corner. One more lap, and again, I'll echo it like I said earlier on. Our event administrator, Kosako, said earlier on to me that that 3rd position is just magical. And he was absolutely right. You never know what you're going to get. Here comes A-Costa then. He's going to be mounting the biggest assault charge possible. This is not just a podium honour. This is not just 3rd position for bragging rights. This is qualifying into tomorrow's Midweek Championship. And what can that little Renault Megane do? How much of a punch can it pack? Down through Hawthorn's drop. And A-Costa is looking increasingly threatening to Popo CZ. What a run he's got in the slipstream. Will he go to the inside or no? He's all over the back of the Megane, but he's got to be sensible here. 2nd place is a long way away. The next car you'll see on the screen is a lapped car. I believe it's actually SPM Bolinas. But we've got to keep an eye on our race leader as well, because he is coming towards the end of his race. He's going through the final corner now. So a pole position and a victory for the SDEV team. Night Raceway flashes the lights. He makes it through to our first round of the Midweek Championship tomorrow as a race winner. And will hold his head very high. Arceo takes 2nd. Who will take 3rd? Is it Popo? What's happened to Tomcat? Where's A-Costa? A-Costa's in the wall. A-Costa's gone off in 6th. And out of nowhere, Tomcat 458. He's going to win. Tomcat takes 4th. But it's Popo that takes 3rd. So Popo holds on to take 3rd. Tomcat 4th. Renault 5th. Arasworth 6th. Zhuzhen 7th. A-Costa in the wall, coming out of clearways. absolutely astounding. Supercar 1 spins and will take 10. Bellina's 11th. Giagni is out of the race in 12th. So that rounds out your action. Your 3 drivers from this heat making it through to tomorrow's first round of 7th season of our Simraceway Midweek Championship, our STEV Night Raceway, SPM Arceo 72, and SPM Popo CZ. What a way! We went out with a bang, didn't we? We didn't quite make Bonfire Night, unfortunately, but a week later today, 7 days after Bonfire Night, we have the best fireworks display imaginable here at Brands Hatch. Thank you so much for tuning in. From myself, Liam Jenkins, our professional cameraman, Dimitri, once again, exquisite work on the broadcast, absolutely brilliant. To our events administrator, Kosaka, who's also a bit of a race pundit when he fancies now. So some great insight there from him as always, and if it wasn't for him, then none of this would be possible. To our CEO, Jonathan Haswell, everyone at the Sim Raceway team, and to all of you drivers and fans who've made this entire thing possible, we will see you tomorrow for some more on-track action.